Hi, I'm Sarah Jane from Natural Heating, and tonight I am going to light and burn a Charlton Jenrick Ecostar 5 weight inset fire. This is a new inset fire from Charlton Jenrick, and there's some very big differences between this and their FPI 5 weight. You think, what does an inset fire do that's so different? This one breaks the rules. So, you think you know what you're doing and then you find out you don't. So I've already lit this and burnt it twice and it didn't perform how I thought it would perform. So let's see if we can get it right this time, because I had to phone Charlton Jenrick for some help. It's one of those things that you might call a classic case of RTFM. Now, if you don't know what that means, it's an acronym that was used, 25, 30 years ago in the early days of the internet. So go ahead, Google up what RTFM is. You do need to do that, or watch this video. I did an RTFM. It's got something to do with manuals, in case you haven't worked out. Here's the unusual bit. What do you normally do when you light a stove? For those of you that are fitters, installers, or even stove shops, you know this already. Primary vent, you'd open it fully. Secondary vent, you'd open it fully. You'd light your kindling pile with the kindling always on top, and then shut the door over, leaving slightly ajar until it heats up. Yeah? Wrong! Not this time. Absolutely not. Or you're going to make a complete mess like I did. So, back to basics, huh? This one is different. It really is different. These two air vents again. Secondary, top air for burning wood, open. Primary for bottom air, shut. Yeah, shut. You do not open this at all unless you're burning smokeless fuel. Not even for ignition. I would normally have this one off for ignition until it heats up and then shut it down. Don't. I've been told you do not touch this air control at all unless you're burning smokeless fuel. Leave it cold. Leave it off. Even in the manual, it does tell you in bold capital letters and underlined, leave that control shut. You do not use it unless you are burning smokeless fuel. I didn't do that, did I? I'll show you what I did later, because I'm going to replicate it, because I just know people are going to get this wrong. Hopefully this time we get it right and then we show you the wrongs. Wood burning. Okay, let's skip all that bit. Note, it is not normally necessary to open the primary air at all once the stove is warmed up when burning wood, unless the fire draft or wood moisture are out of specifications. Alrighty. And then under here, primary, under grate, it is not necessary to use primary air at all for wood burning. Keep it closed. Here you go. Let me just show you, just so we get our facts right before we start. RTFM. I think on this one, it's a case of we need a ruddy, great big sticker to go on the box. Because just about everybody that knows anything about fires, just like me, is going to go, I'm allowed to do it. Light it and get it horribly wrong. Right, so here we go. We're lighting our stove. Primary air vent closed, secondary air vent open, door slightly ajar. Anyway, she goes. Now, I had no problem lighting this before. Okay, I had both air vents open instead of one, but it lit like an absolute doddle. Really wasn't a problem. Charlton Jenrick's rarely ever are. And it was blasting out brilliant heat in a short amount of time, but it wasn't a clean burn, and that was my fault. So let's see what it does this time. Now, these stoves are ceramic lined. Ceramic is also known as chamotti by some manufacturers, and it does take a bit longer to heat up than vermiculite. So what you'll see to start with is when I shut this door, it's going to start going black, and that black is carbon as it's starting to get up to temperature, and it does take a little while to heat up compared to vermiculite. You just need to give it a chance, but it acts like a storage heater, so it keeps more heat in those bricks for longer, but it just takes a wee bit longer to heat up. It doesn't mean to say that it takes any less time putting the heat out into the room, because my kindling's not even all taking fire yet, and I can feel that heat on my face. It really is kicking it out, and kicking it out a lot, and very, very quickly. Different type of baffle arrangement in this stove to the FPI 5 models. It's easier to get in and out, actually, come to think of it. The baffle's easier to get in and out. It's a nice big firebox. It will easily, in the wide version, it says, I think it takes a 375mm log or thereabouts. I'm burning 10-inch logs, and as you can see, there's tons of space in that firebox. It's massive in comparison, but it's not all about burning the most logs or the biggest logs. It's about burning the minimal amount of fuel for the best amount of heat. And first things first, we want to get this stove heated up and up to temperature. So we've got that kindling fire lit, and it's taking off at a nice pace. And I've already caught down 3-4 layers of kindling now. It won't take long, and that bottom layer will catch. We always start with the Jenga pile to heat the chimney as quickly as possible. It's taking at good speed. We're nearly down to the actual wood. As soon as I hit those logs in the bottom layer and it starts to take, I will, no, I can't show you through that bar. We're nearly there. As soon as those bottom logs take, then I will get that door shut. But it's taken off nicely. I can already feel the heat through the glass, and most of my kindling hasn't even caught yet. So it's pushing the heat out nice and well, and in a short space of time. Now, just about. So you can see from the glow in my face, I've got half decent fire going already. So I'm just gonna shut that handle now. Let's zoom it back a bit. On phone react, there we go. So my logs are now catching fire. It's burning at a good hot rate. That is on full top air and no bottom air at all. And having no bottom air really doesn't mean this has struggled. You might think it might struggle by not having the bottom air, but it hasn't. It hasn't at all. It's taken off nicely with a good quick speed, and this is on a compromised flue system because it's on that carbuncle there, which you would never ever do in a house. It's simply on a test rig, which means it is jeopardised and runs more like basically, test firing on this system gives me the benefit of seeing how quick something heats up, and under not such a good scenario of flue system, you know, it's hampered a bit because of this stupid arrangement I've got in here. It means that I can see what it's going to do if it's a chimney that's not got as strong a pull. It means that if I can get it to work in here, you should be able to get it to work anywhere, whether it's a bungalow or a 2-story house. I'm not having to work hard at this at all. Let me show you. I'm just going to turn around and do it all backwards. See? You're going to hear it clicking a little bit, nothing much, because you could hear anything in here. You can even hear me tapping my hand on the floor. It's really echoey, and it's a big industrial unit. There's no carpets, there's no self-furnishing, so you're going to hear a pin drop. There's no noise as such. You can even hear the fire, as in the flames. It's not noisy. It's just, well, a big echoey warehouse unit. So this is coming up to speed nice and quick, and the back liners are starting to clear down in the middle already, although it takes a little while. The glass is nice and clean. My kindling is nearly gone, but I've got 2 small logs in the bottom just to get it started, and I'm just going to open it, prime the door, give it a few seconds to pull that air away. So you can see there's no spillage out the front of this. My gosh, that's throwing some heat out the front. There's no spillage out the front of this, and this chimney isn't even warmed up. See, absolutely nothing. We'll put another 10-inch split in there and leave the air open just to get those linings burnt off back to being cream and get that fire to take nicely. But it's getting up to speed. Good and quick. Nice and clean. And it looks lovely. It's a nice big bright fire view. And that is a big glass in that fire. I'm just going to go and find a tape measure. So the visible glass on this stove, the actual visible glass, is 380 millimeters wide by, I would say, now this bit at the bottom that you see is still glass, and the same at the top, but it's screen printed black on the back just to hide the air wash in the bottom of the grate and ash pan. So I'm going to say that the actual visible glass on this is 280 mil high by 380 millimeters wide. It's a very modern looking door frame, and the actual screen size, if you want the whole screen size to the outside frame, trim of the frame, is 400 high by, it was still 380 millimeters wide because the width of it hasn't changed, but just because you've got that screen printing bit. Now, what the instructions say to do is fully open until you've got your fire going, and then we use this one to control it and turn it down. Now, if I turn it right down, you can see there's a vast amount of control in this, and it's not even properly heated up yet. Now, Peter, who designed this fire, tells me to get it hot, or get it going and get it lit up to temperature, and then turn it to about halfway. It should clean itself down at that, and then once it's fully heated up, to turn it down to only about a third open. And at a third open, it should maintain itself with a good clean burn and keep that nice clean screen. So yeah, fabulous heat output, as I would expect from Charlton Jenrick. Plenty of air control. So open it right up, roaring away like a dragon. Turn it right down, 5 or 10 seconds to burn that air off. There she goes. And that's not even at full temperature, and that's on a fresh log. So it's got lots more control in the bag yet. Halfway for the next bit till we burn all, a bit less than halfway, huh? A bit less than halfway. About there, I reckon. Give it a chance to burn off that interior and bring those linings back to cream and heat itself up. Nice. Everything I'd expect of a C&J, which always perform beautifully. Right, beautiful, bright, clean. Full air, you can hear it pulling away. Turn it right down. Beautiful. We just give it a wee bit more. That's better. What a lovely balance. There you go, this is getting up to temperature nicely. It's not been very long. My firebox is getting nice and bright. It's kicking tons of heat out the front. It's controlling exactly as it should. The key to this one is you do not touch the bottom primary air. It must remain off with wood. If it does not remain off with wood, you'll know about it, because something horrible will happen and it will turn the whole thing black, and it's not very pretty. And it's you, it's absolutely you if that happens. And it tells you not to use that control in the manual unless it's smokeless fuel. Do you know what? I don't burn smokeless fuel. So this stove has nicely come up to temperature and it's burning nice and clean, and the inside is starting to brighten up. All the back has cleared, the sides are starting to clear. My bottom air vent is only half open. I'm going to reduce that down a bit more till it's only a third open, because that's a nice bright fire and it really doesn't need to go any hotter, to be honest. I'm boiling. absolutely boiling, and it's burning nice and clean. What I'm actually going to do is let this out for tonight because I'm perfectly happy with it. It controls and does everything that I expect it should, the way it should. The key thing is make sure you do not open the primary air control when you're burning wood. You just don't do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to light this fire out and then show you tomorrow what happens when you do it the normal way, which for this fire is the wrong way round. RTFM. Why is this so different from everything else? But you know what? It's burning really nice now. Sorry. Now, this is on my mock-up rig flue system. And what I have in front is an inset trim. These inset trims come in two different sizes. They come in 50mm wide and about 70mm wide. So a standard one and then a wider width. It's just the border frame around the outside, like in a photograph. And you will see this is the back of it. Please ignore my magnets and things. This is just to hold the front on. You would screw it onto a wall, obviously, but there's no wall here, so we've just got a bit of a mock-up. This actual casing is 500mm wide, or 501mm wide, and there is also a smaller 400. We'll take a look at the casings later. So from the outside of the stove, we have a really big glass window. Two lots of air controls, your primary and your secondary air controls, both of which are at the bottom with easy access. And a door handle on the right hand side. It's a convection box casing, which literally means it's a box within a box, which allows airflow right the way around, so quicker heat out into the room. Now, what we're saying in here is these are kind of space saver blocks that can be used for either reducing capacity or for burning smokeless fuel to keep the smokeless fuel directly over the grate. We don't need these in for wood. Although it's not a big deal if you do put them in for wood and you want a smaller capacity. So you just put these out the way for now. And then there is an ash pan that spans the full width of the interior. Now, these stoves are what is known as chamotti, I believe it's chamotti, or ceramic lined interiors. So it's ceramic panels, which take a bit longer to heat up than vermiculite, but are extremely good at holding heat. And this is your baffle plate at the top. That white bit's a bit of polystyrene, because I haven't yet taken the packing out. We haven't lit this yet, and it's only just been put in. So the baffle plate, so this is the baffle that I've just dropped down, which it comes out easily even with one hand, and that is a piece of insulation board to help keep even more heat in the fire that sits on top of it. It comes out easily, there's no fixings up in there, it just sits in and clips in on that hook bit at the front over this edge, so it's pretty simple to get access into the flue. Now, at first glimpse, compared to some of their old retainer bars, what I've been asking for, and they have actually done with this one, is to cut these bars and leave a space at the front of the bar, which is for more air down the window, so that the window should stay clean right down here. Alright, so we're down in the warehouse, and I have got an Ecostar 5 wide down here that we're going to show you something on, because it's got a really, really clever feature that should make a big difference to install. So here you are, we've got one out on the forklift truck, and we've got half the inners out the inside, so the baffles and grates and things are outfit. And if we look up into the inside, you can see where the flue outlet is. Now, with that flue outlet collar, it comes out on the top here like normal, but there is also a special adapter that you can buy for this stove, and I've just broken the gasket. So that special adapter means that we can set the flue pipe further back for deeper fireplace openings, or if it'll stay there, if you have a fascia brick on the front of the wall, see, If you've got a wall, fascia brick in front of the wall, you'd have 2 rows of brick. 1 row from the front of the breast and the second row of brickwork. And that makes it very difficult to get that flue pipe up that chimney, especially if you've got a restricted height. The idea is that with this offset collar, as an option, going on the top, we can move that flue positioning further back. Now, I'm only offering that up on top. It actually fits from the inside. So the flue collar and your flue fits like normal. You push it up from the inside. I haven't unscrewed this outlet plate because there's not really a point in the minute. But this would come down inside and push up through there as an alternate collar to move everything further back, which is really clever. Really clever. So where space is an issue and nothing else goes, this could be a real clever one to have in your toolkit. Okay, so this fire has a new home to go to tomorrow. And this part of the video, which is my last chance to video this fire, is to show you what not to do. Because I think it's crucially important. And this is what happens if you don't RTFM, read the manual. The manual does specifically give you instructions that you have to follow. But as a stove user who knows it all but doesn't know it all, this is what you may be tempted to do. Please don't. Because you won't like the results. And it's your fault. So, these Ecostar inserts behave badly when you treat them badly. I'm sat on the floor with the camera. Right, okay. Let's make a little bed of kiln dried wood in there. That should do nicely. And I'm going to add plenty of nice dry kindling. Odd looking kindling, but nice dry kindling on top. Alright, all of that being perfectly normal and you would do under normal circumstances. Place a fire lighter in the kindling and another 2 or 3 bits of kindling on top. Now we're going to light the fire. If I can open the fire, water. Right. So now we're going to light the fire. Okay. So you would expect with most stoves, that does not include this one, to open the primary air vent and open the secondary air vent and leave the door slightly ajar. That's normal procedure. The manual on this stove explicitly states in bold text, which is underlined, not to open the primary air vent at all when burning wood. You must leave this shut. I'm leaving it open because that's the mistake I made. And if you know anything about stoves, you're going to make that mistake too. Because I bet you, like me, you didn't read the manual. And we should all read the manual, shouldn't we? So, what happened? Well, the stove took off nice and quick and came up to temperature nice and quick. And then we got a really horrible burn and a lot of debris and a lot of soot and a lot of muck, and I could not get that stove to clean down, and I could not get the firebox to clean down, and I could not get the glass to clean down, and it was just bloody awful. So I'm going to show you what I did so you can not do the same thing, because I don't want you to fulfill the same problem I had. I really don't. Right, so my fire's taken nicely, my logs are alight. I'm going to shut the door. And it's now nicely on fire. And you can see it in that back far corner. That is going to get blacker and blacker and blacker until the whole thing goes black. And then the glass goes black. And then it gets really dirty. So I'm just going to let that happen and come back to it in a minute or two. You can actually see the soot building up at the air wash at the back. See that? Do you see the sooty stuff in the deposits? These fires never burn like that. Charlton Jenrick just don't. Oh, that's not very good. I'm zooming too far. Do you see it getting darker? Do you see the sides getting darker? You can't see with the baffle because the baffle is steel, but there's a lot of sooty deposit at the top. These just don't do that. That is because I've got that primary air vent open, and it tells you in the manual to leave that vent shut. This one here, the one that's on your right hand side. So I'm going to come back to this in a few minutes and then open the door and show you what it's doing as well. Right, here it goes. It's starting to happen. If you can see here, there's a line coming across. I put another small fresh log in, and I've been told that it will overfire from the bottom if you're burning with wood with that primary vent shut. And it's getting really mucky, smutty looking on that, and you can actually see that deposit forming on the glass. It's developing quite quickly now. It's going to get blacker and blacker and blacker. And that glass is going to go black like coal in a few minutes. It's getting really horribly dark in there. Do you see it? And that's because it's excess air from the bottom. Too much air from the bottom. Now it's darkening down. It's happening quite quickly. And this is the problem I had before, but it just got so bad. Really bad. And I couldn't fathom it at all because I thought I was doing what I was meant to do. If we do it this way round, you might see better. You can see a line at the top that looks like somebody's peeled off a strip of sellotape. And then below that, it's narrow. It's only maybe about the width of a strip of sellotape. It was lucky if it's 20 mil wide. And then below that, it's just filthy. And this is what happens when your air controls this over around the wrong way. And that'll get worse and worse and worse till it literally goes jet black. So if I open this door, I'm going to show you what it already looks like on the back of that glass. See, it's getting pretty horrible and quick. It's going really quick now. Oh, look, you can see it changing. Really quick. Wow. That is not the fire picture that you would have dreamed of. That is not the fire picture that you want. The fire's banging the heat out. Let me show you the back of the glass. Oh, look, that's not clever, is it? But do you know what? You've done it. It's not the fire's fault. Look, that's a hot paper towel. You don't want to do that. You'll burn yourself. I'm showing you so that you can see. Please don't do that. But please don't leave that primary air vent open either. Now that's how clean it should be versus how clean it is. And that's your fault. What we're going to do is shut the primary air like we were told to do. Now what is happening, you will see at the back and the inside, is the tertiary air intake is actually kicking in. And that is hopefully going to start burning all that back off. Now look, it's already starting to clear. Now, I don't know that I'll get this back to crystal clear. We'll find out shortly. But my fire's established. And what I've been told is once your fire is nicely established, you must turn your secondary air, the one that's on the left, down to a maximum of halfway. And then once it's up at temperature, you turn it down further. All that air is not required because it's still over combusting. And you can see that glass is actually clearing down. It's certainly not back to clear. It's got a long way to go. But it's only been about a minute. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit again. And it's far better than what it was. But it's still bogging, which is a good Scottish word for you. But it's my fault. Entirely my fault. And that's what happens when you don't read the manual. Thankfully, we found out quite early on what the issue is. So you can't just think you know it all. Because you know what? Sometimes you just don't. And this one breaks the general rules that we would normally follow as stove users. So it just goes to show you don't always know it all. Even if I have to let this burn out, and I will have to let it burn out because that stove is soaked and it's going to its new home tomorrow. Do you know what? It's never going to do this again because the gentleman that's having it is going to know how to run it because he's been told not to open that primary air vent. Not for wood, only for smokeless fuel. Because your stove doesn't need it. But it is clearing down quite nicely and burning off a bit. And worst case, I'll clean it in the morning, and I've already shown you it can burn beautifully clear. I have done this on purpose. I am purposely showing you what not to do. RTFM, over and out. Just for the sake of it, I have just cleaned this stove down when red hot with some dry kitchen roll, which is something I suggest you never do because I have burnt myself quite badly, very badly doing that before. So it's been done at my risk, and I'm going to end up with black face when I touch myself in a minute because I just know I will. So if I end up looking like a chimney sweep, you know why. Anyway, I've wiped it off and the glass is now clean. There is no smoke at the top of the firebox. My primary air vent is shut. My secondary air vent is about half open, and the inside of this fire is already starting to clear. Now, even with me looking at it, you can see the white circles appearing round where the air injectors at the tertiary air intake are at the back. And if you look at the back corners here, you can see my side linings are clearing up nicely as it's burning that carbon back off. That was the carbon that I created by having my air vents all the wrong way around. So I did wipe it off, but I wanted to show you it burning back off as well, and that this stove will burn beautifully clean. It's entirely user error if you have this problem.